Are you even picking them to win the West right now?
Not right now, no. I reserve the right to change my mind because I picked them at the beginning of the season, and certainly if LeBron James gets healthy, obviously that changes a lot of things. But I think that he was right on the money when he said if he's not 100%, they ain't coming out of the West. I think even he knows that. He looks like a shell of himself right now. And obviously the last 6 minutes and 42 seconds, I believe, last night, he ended up sitting out the rest of the game in their loss to the Toronto Raptors because of right ankle soreness. It's the same ankle that he hurt against Atlanta over 40 days ago, which caused them to miss 20 games. And when you look at the Los Angeles Lakers right now, they're out of sync. And when you got to take into account Frank Vogel, Max, the defense is ranked number 2 in the NBA. Frank Vogel is known as an elite defensive coach. That's what he is. Mm-hmm. He's never been accused of that offensively. Mm-hmm. So that means that the offense, which is ranked 23 at this particular moment in time, it's really in the hands of LeBron James. He's your point forward. Now, Dennis Schroeder was out last night, the COVID protocols and all of this other stuff, which obviously frustrates a lot of players because too many players this year have gone through that. But I don't think he makes that much of a difference if LeBron James is not healthy. LeBron James is not healthy. He looks like a shell of himself. And without him, the offense ain't just what it used to be. Anthony Davis is averaging 21 and 8 this season, 50% shooting from the field, but only 26% shooting from three-point range. If you look at the way teams are playing in the National Basketball Association, particularly in the Western Conference, they're going to get a little bit physical with you. He's got to be able to make his perimeter shots in order to be the Anthony Davis we know and love, because without that, it's going to be just too tough with Phoenix, with Utah. Even though the Clippers have lost 3 straight, we can't eliminate them. The Denver Nuggets have won 5 straight. This is why Jokic is the MVP right now, the leading candidate for the MVP. There's just too much formidable opposition in the Western Conference for LeBron to be less than 100%. Both him and AD are less than 100%. And as far as I'm concerned, if the players were to begin right now, I wouldn't pick the Los Angeles Lakers to even make the conference finals.
Neither would I if the playoffs start right now, but they don't. I'm staying with the Lakers. Am I nervous? Yeah.
Okay.
And you know I'm a Lakers fan. But
yeah, you're a trader. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's right.
You're a trader.
That's right. That's right. Sold the Knicks out.
Mm-hmm.
When Dolan sells the team, we can talk.
Okay.
The point is, the Lakers still have LeBron and AD. And the real alarming thing that LeBron said, though he said something like this in the past, is he doesn't know if he'll ever be 100% again. He doesn't think he'll ever be 100% again. Whoa, LeBron, what are you saying? I'm going to take that as a dude who's really frustrated right now, who sat out all that time to make sure it was okay, came back and like, wait, did I hurt myself again? Well, is this just pain or is this an injury I'm dealing with? But guys, when they are healthy, if they can get healthy, they're still the best team in the West. This is the defending champs who, gentlemen, swept the Western Conference last year. No one took them to a Game 6 in the West. And they got better, at least on paper, not only in the offseason, but after the trade deadline. You talk about, can Anthony Davis's body hold up to the rigors of the playoffs? They have Andre Drummond. Like, they have guys. The problem used to be they don't have enough starters, really. They have 2 superstars, maybe one other starter in Schroeder, and everyone else is a rotation guy. Andre Drummond is better than just a starter. No, they got guys now. The whole issue is the health. And Stephen A., this whole string of games they're playing, I know. They lost to a team playing the second of back-to-back, right? The Raptors, who are not going to make the playoffs probably, go on a West Coast swing, lose to Denver, lose to the Jazz, and then beat the Lakers playing their 3rd game in 4 nights. As a Lakers fan, oh, my God. But the rest of this season, the next 10 games, the next 3 weeks almost, this is just the run-up to the playoffs. All the Lakers have to worry about, forget about where they're seated, get healthy.
Hold on.
They have enough time.
I have a couple questions. One, do you actually believe LeBron at face value, or do you think they're just trying to play some games here and set the bar low?
I think he's lying when he says that he doesn't know if he'll ever be 100% again. Yeah. I think that's a bit of hyperbole there. But I do think that he's alluding to this season because, again, he does make a legitimate point when he talks about you have to get out there and play because particularly with the kind of season this is with COVID-19, you don't get practice time. So you can't get 5-on-5 live action and what have you. You don't know how you're going to feel until you go out there and play. Yeah. And if he, at age 36 in his 18th season, he's measuring himself against what he knows he's accustomed to feeling. So if you're out there and you're feeling this soreness after 40 days off, 20 games, and you're still feeling soreness when you go out there, it's kind of scary in that regard. Also, we got to remember, it's a three-way tie for that 6th seed.
That's what I was going to say. What about the seeding? How bad is this? Can that really affect them?
It's very bad because what happens is that now you're talking about the fact that he can't get himself healthy because the Lakers have shown an inability to win games when he's out. They were 8-13 with him out of the lineup.
But that's recent. They're about 500 until recently.
Well, yeah,
they started sliding recently.
But he still wasn't back, is all I'm trying to say. He still wasn't back. And so without him, you're struggling. And then you get to a point where you sit back, you're going like this. I can't afford to be out because I don't have confidence that we can win without me during these regular season games, which means he had to come back in there, which is why Brad Turner and others covering the team the way that they do. One of the first questions they asked him was, do you think you came back too early? That's why they asked that question.
Well, look, they were doing fine really until AD got back more or less. And then the problem is they have to figure out how to reintegrate the second most important piece on the team in AD. And now it's LeBron. So the question is only for me, number one, are they healthy? Right? And then do they have enough time? I say, yes, they have enough time. Even if LeBron has to pull back a little bit. You got to pull back his minutes. They have just enough time right now to get into a rhythm before the playoffs. I do think they have that time. And then if they do, I'm not saying I'm picking them against the Western Conference. I'm saying I'd make them the odds-on favorite because until I see otherwise, LeBron's considered the best player in basketball. AD, when last seen, was tearing it up in the playoffs and finals. They've gotten better since then. They're my favorites.
Well, listen, you got Kyle Kuzma saying Marc Gasol should be playing. Marc Gasol was just starting center, and now he's third string behind Drummond and Montrezl Harrell. So you got that as a problem. So you got players looking at things schematically. They're looking at personnel, the usage of personnel. There's a whole bunch of questions that prop up when you're not winning. Obviously, LeBron is the resolution. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.